Okay, I am back, guys. All right, guys, I'm back. Thank you, Alien, for pointing out, you know, all the stuff wrong with my live stream this morning. Even I wasn't even capturing the footage of the news either. So there's that, but yeah, thanks. We're back on top of it now though, guys. Trump fact checked.
The cited FAA text that you read is real, but the implication that this policy is new or that it stems from efforts that began under President Biden or the Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg is demonstrably false. It's been on the FAA's website.
That, you?
No, it's on the website, the FAA's website. It was there in 2013. It was there for the
Take
entirety.
what I read.
It was there for the entirety of your administration
Nice and
too.
easy.
So my question is, why didn't you change the policy during your first
I
administration?
did change it. I changed the Obama policy, and we had a very good policy. And then Biden came in, and he changed it. And then when I came in 3 days ago, I signed a new order bringing it to the highest level of intelligence.
It
Okay,
was on the website.
please.
Respectfully, it was on the website.
Quiet.
So they're talking about the DEI, and if you're not familiar with what DEI stands for, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And Trump was blaming that on for the airplane wrecks because he was saying that people that were more qualified for the job didn't get the job. And here's the take on both sides with this is like everybody's saying the people that live here shouldn't, and the people who are more qualified for the job shouldn't be penalized by the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Acts. But then on the other side, everybody is saying that America is founded off of immigration. It's the principle that information flows, and the state is something that can be continually improved by the idea of this flow state where things are continually coming in and leaving, kind of thing. You know what? Here's just my take on government. Like, my big thing is that government is such a hard thing in general to try to like create these ideas from which we govern ourselves from for like extended periods of time, because everything changes so much. Like from the time in which the US government was formed and like all of these like ideals written down, it's like the world has changed. And so it's like, is it better for somebody to come in and like rewrite everything? And like, you know what I mean? Is the government of the future going to be something that comes into being after some revolution, like 500 years from now, and what we're doing is going to be obsolete because it's written for, like the 1700s or whatever? That's my biggest problem with government. Individuals understand that your actions have to change, and the way that you run things should change based upon what's going on in your life. So in essence, I kind of swing in some direction, you know what I mean, about where I call everything personal autonomy. You know what I mean? I think people should be autonomous, and there it's much more of uh I believe in much more of an independent state kind of thing. Now, in a sense, I guess I do believe in democracy though, because I believe that government in its essence is something that is formed off of people's beliefs and the way in which they communicate in large bodies. But I think that perhaps, you know what I mean, this form of government could be much more malleable in terms of how information is spread amongst individuals today to create these bodies of individuals which are sort of self-governing. They're sort of autonomous because they're just projections of the world. They're just projections of the world. Because I think that people sort of need some idea of authority, because without it, in the general masses, people sort of are afraid. They're afraid that nobody's, like, uh, have no representation. People want representation, kind of thing. But I just worry, like, you know what I mean? I just worry, like, I'm extreme to those ends where it's just like, I think government does have a big issue with being something what is written in time. It's something that's set in stone, which makes it much more likely to just break. You know what I mean? Over time, and rather than it being something which can be like a snake almost, you know. And who knows, maybe people think that the government is just full of snakes, but anyways, kind of move on from that. That's my take. I don't listen to a lot of it, just like this guy over here. I have to formulate my whole system of beliefs based upon something where things are autonomous. Life is just these projections of the multitude and masses, and I think I believe in much more of a, like, the documents can change kind of thing based upon the narrative which is present at the time. So anyways, I just sort of think that, and I don't like the idea of somebody pushing a narrative. I think it should be much more fluid and autonomous.
Now they're connecting not having toxins in your food with a right-wing idea.
It's crazy. It's mind-blowing.
It's so bananas.
Our politics is focused on fake and distractions to distract us from the real stuff. If I'm looking at the environmental movement in the United States of America, the only thing that it talks about is the carbon footprint. And it never talks about, like, oh, why do we have the highest rates of obesity in the world right now? And one of the first things that happened when I was a senator is we had this terrible train derailment in East.
I think a lot of that is just, again, how this system is set up here. It's like, what do people do after college? They go and they sit down. I think a lot of it is that too. It's more than just food. I think it's a lifestyle thing. I think that in America, it's just like everybody goes and as soon as they're done with school and whatever, they go and have a job where they just sit down kind of thing. Like, and it's hard to be a part of that system unless you just let yourself go. See, I got more viewers. Yeah, thanks, Alien. If you weren't here, I would have just been, I didn't even have the footage capture on. I didn't even have the capturing the what I was talking about on. But it's probably just because I just got out of bed and just was like, oh man, and I just hit the stream button, I got out of bed and just hit the stream button kind of thing. But again, and I think that this is the way that this system is in America is, again, because it's a lot more of a governed state than originally, you know what I mean? And like I said, it falls victim to the fact that ideas themselves are based upon things that are set in stone. rather than them being something which can be sort of thrown away in the future, you know? Sort of a lot more governance, but oh, why is my stream black? Yeah, I just didn't have it capturing my window. It was just it's literally just cuz I literally rolled out of bed, you know, and that's when I do this stream is when I roll out of bed, so
Palestine, Ohio. It was amazing. The environmental movement almost could not have cared less about a chemical explosion, but they were really, really concerned about the carbon footprint of those same people. I'm sick of the distraction. I think we should focus on the real stuff.
What RFK has now done by injecting this idea that we should be talking about things, someone who maybe is a little bit afraid of Trump, they might look at the ingredients and say, boy, we really do have to do something about this.
Now,
I don't really think it made Joe Rogan's head explode, though. That was kind of like a clickbaity kind of thing. I get so much of, like, I have no idea. My feed is so interesting now. It's like I just get this mini Minuteman and a lot of Hasanabi stuff. I have no idea why I started getting recommended Hassan.
If anyone is using hostages, surely it's Hamas, Hassan. How can you say that? How can you use that argument? It's Hamas
What do
that
you mean, how can I
have
use that
taken
argument?
these
There
people
are
from their
currently
homes,
tens of thousands of people in
murdered their
Israel
relatives.
protesting every single day for Benjamin Netanyahu to facilitate a ceasefire with Hamas so that they can actually bring the hostages home.
Who
and
is
if
using the
anyone on
hostages?
this panel was
No,
being
answer
even a
that
little bit
question.
honest,
You
they would
changed-
recognize
You're
the
not listening to
reality
my
that,
question.
listen, just listen.
You didn't listen to my question.
Listen to what I'm saying, and you will understand, perhaps, what I'm trying
That's
to imply
very
here.
patronizing.
Utilizing the hostages. Yeah, I am being patronizing. I don't know who the you are, and you're over here chirping all the way from fucking London about Palestine and doing a both sides are fucking fine type bullshit where you're talking about how you want to fucking free Palestine, but also simultaneously, you know, both sides got a lot going on. Shut the fuck up. You don't know anything, okay? There is no
Clever you
both sides
are.
on a genocide. There
What
is
is
no
in the
both
Hamas
sides
charter?
and
They
apartheid.
He is so, like, polarizing. Like, if I just had to say, like, what is Hassan, like, good at? It's just being polarizing, and it almost... How did the ceasefire happen? I'm not sure. He just... You missed that. I could look it up. See if I can find anything. One day ago. But that guy's so polarizing. It's hard to, like, listen to him and agree with him at the same time, because he puts everybody in some side where they're not as, like, politically savvy as he is. It's hard. My biggest problem is that just when these groups, like, in their, like, the problem is that a lot of these groups, they just have, like, death, literally, like, death to a certain kind of people. It's like, oh my gosh, like, it's hard to, in my head, be on somebody's side when it's like the banners that they're flying just, like, identifies a certain group of people and just overgeneralizes them into something which they should, like, basically wipe off the face of the planet. Now, my whole take is a little bit, like, on both sides, because, listen, if you read the Quran, it says, like, kill anybody who basically isn't a Muslim, is what it says in the Quran. Like, you can look that up. But the thing is that the Bible also basically says, like, those who don't follow the Lord will be, like, hastily, like, judged by my judgment kind of thing. And so, you know what, even the Bible is basically a little bit sort of genocidal in that fact. So really, I think that you just have to understand that, especially people that are younger, when they're like young people, they're not born with these ideas and stuff like that until they're taught them. Like growing up myself, I never viewed myself as like a different race. Like I grew up with people from all races, like Hispanic, black, and it was like I never, the funny thing is, like, I can remember it. I can remember being a kid and never thinking like, oh, these people, like somebody over there is black, like he's black and he's Mexican or whatever. It was just like, oh, that's, and I just had their name, like that's Chris, that's Skylar. And it's so weird. And so I genuinely think that as a child, you don't see these separation of peoples into there being like this idea of supremacy kind of thing until it's like cemented into you by humanity. And the hard thing is once you get older, it's hard not to identify with a certain group because you get told to be with your people kind of thing. Everybody eventually gets told to be with their kind of people. But pronouns are dead, you guys.
Advanced technology in the few
I'm not sure exactly how the ceasefire happened. I can look it up some more if you want me to.
It's been kind of funny to see everything happen. Oh, you want to know what's really funny? Here we go.
Because Veilguard chose to.
Anyways, he's saying
BioWare
that
is on my side, and that's.
The reason is because, like, for a long time, people were able to have these opinions, and they were totally insulated inside of social media. You could not disagree with these people because you would get banned. But now that people are able to disagree with it, it's dying at record speeds because it was never popular to begin with. It was a total echo chamber. It was a forced echo chamber. I've always found.
So anyways, right there, he's just saying that, like, the he, her, she, them, whatever kind of thing is done away with. He made a stream yesterday that I watched where it was the Democratic Party electing nominees, and they were having like a hard time like addressing a third gender. They had like, we have to elect based upon the number of electorees. We have to elect somebody that's non-binary as well, and it was just like, it made everybody like kind of confused how they were like figuring that out. But Disney will never recover from this.
Snow White trailer comments as a song.
Oh God.
If I saw this movie on a plane, I would still walk out. I paid nothing to watch this trailer, but I already want my money back.
3,000? 43. Look at this.
Honey, why is there an earthquake here? This Walt Disney rolling in his grave. Disney invites you and I must politely decline.
I know that Disney's been like struggling so bad lately. Like, totally. I know that their stock like crashed or something, and everybody was upset because then all of a sudden Apple just became like an overwhelmingly like powerful company as soon as Disney crashed or something like that. Elon Musk was saying. But Disney's been struggling for a while, and it's, again, I think it's like that whole Disney's weird. They used to be extremely conservative, and then they like all of a sudden changed. And I think the thing is it's like most of their audience is like sort of conservative, like family kind of people. It's not like this independent who wants to live a free-spirited life and stuff like that. So it was kind of interesting when they made all those changes, because it's like people that grew up watching Disney were pretty conservative in the first place. So I know that the company's been struggling a lot trying to stay politically correct whilst, you know, I don't know if I want to watch this whole thing. Probably not. But I know Disney's been struggling. If you haven't heard that, yeah, Disney's been struggling for a while now. Disney went woke, yeah, for sure. They, like I said, they had an audience that has been their audience for like, you know, like 30 years or whatever. That was very conservative and all this stuff, like, but then all of a sudden now it's like, you know, they changed. And the other problem with Disney too, yeah, they went woke and got canceled. They got canceled, the funny thing is, by like the people that were originally their fans. And the other thing is too is Disney hasn't changed its like entertainment, like its stories for forever as well. They have a hard time, I feel like, coming up with new stories that are somehow, you know, it's just like it's like they're taking too much water from the well kind of thing, and they're not drilling anymore.
Your next trip.
Yeah, since their audience is young, but they're like real audience is like really young, and like I said, it's like kids don't even see, you know, like race. Like I said, at least I didn't. I just remember not seeing race like growing up, and it's like, oh, that, you know, like I said, like that's Chris or whatever. Like I didn't like feel so different. I think that's something that comes about when you're like older. So it's like they just, you know, made a decision and it didn't go well for them.
Trip to the grocery store may cost you more. Tariffs on imported goods from our neighbors to the north and south are expected to go into effect tomorrow. Your reporter Owen Kingsley live in Cromwell with more on how far-reaching these impacts could be to here in Connecticut.
Yeah, that's right. At a time when many are financially challenged, just a trip to the grocery store could become that much more expensive. These tariffs could have an impact on certain items at your local grocery store. Utilities, too, something to watch, that these tariffs could also raise the cost of.
Energy imported from Canada, including oil, natural gas, and electricity, would be taxed at 10%. Other imports from both Canada and Mexico, things like food, the Trump administration is slapping a 25% tariff on. That means fruits.
In general, I think this is going to increase the price of things, is what I think. I don't have a good way of explaining that right now, but I think it's going to increase the price of a lot of stuff in America. Good Theory didn't take off. Yeah, well, I'll have to try to do some shorts and stuff like that. Like, you know, and stuff. I'll work on that today more. It was literally just like I started that on Saturday, you know, and it's like I've tried, like you said, I've tried to not upload way too much stuff onto there. So I'll upload something today sometime. I'll work on something. It's just yesterday I had to read a book, some work I had to get done with reading a book and everything. So I'll make sure to like work on that a little bit today.
Have y'all seen this map?
Wow, I have now. Jesus. Whose mom is this? Look, if your parents are, you know...
You think making another one? Yeah. Let it rest for 2 months. Yeah, you know, I just, I think YouTube, no uploads. I'll think about it for sure. You know what I mean? All I can do is keep trying. If I want to like break out somehow on YouTube, all I can do is keep trying.
You know, Facebook conspiracy boomers, you guys got to start putting some parental controls in your Wi-Fi, or else they're going to start doing stuff like this.
Old Testament map of ancient America. Israel, Egypt, Babylon, Assyria, Egypt, Egyptian Sea.
Really? You look at this and you think, this is like putting a baby in front of a mobile. If this is what does it for you, whatever. I'll even help you. What do you think of this? Thought-provoking, I know. Detroit?
You just use the channel to watch videos. That's an interesting idea. Just create it and keep it on the side. All right, yeah, I'll think about that.
Wait, Zambia? Okinawa?
Could the America be all of these ancient lands? Are we in fact the old world? Let me know what you think.
I think no. I don't even really know how to debunk this. It's just so ridiculous. I don't even think you need me to mention how disrespectful this is to actual indigenous American groups. Another map showing the locations of all the books in the Bible. I'm not a biblical archaeologist or a religious man.
Yeah, my only thing is, like, I obviously don't completely agree with this woman, but I do think that life is basically just a bunch of, like, reflections. It's common knowledge to have a channel just to watch. Alright, yeah, I'll have to look into it, for sure. I'll definitely look into it. Like, I do think geometrically life does kind of repeat. As they say, history repeats itself. I think, like, geometrically the world is kind of... Just to differentiate from bot channels, yeah. I'll look into it, man.
If Jesus was here right now, would you let him in?
Of course I would.
Why?
As long as he went through the proper, as long as he
came here legally. As long as Jesus Christ came to this country legally, we would let him in. Gentlemen. Thank you. No, thank you.
This gets funnier every time.
And then I upload after 2 months, yeah. You know, I just sometimes I just think like maybe I'm not that popular of a, like maybe my personality, I don't have that popular of a personality, or like the way I summarize things or something like that. And I'm just like, yeah, that's why I just, you know, try to focus on like the small things in life kind of thing, you know, or whatever.
Charles, have you heard of the guy that got banned from Xbox for the name was his town Fort Gay? He had to get the mayor of his...
Oh, he used to have thousands of viewers in his life. Yeah, I used to get like hundreds and stuff like that for sure. Or thousands, I guess. Now he's shadow banned. Yeah, I don't know how I'd figure that out. Like, I'd have to email YouTube and see if I really was or something like that and see what they say, but... Yeah, because I was getting thousands for a little bit. My analytics. India is like my top country. Watch this. Where it says... Yeah, look, top geographies. India. 50% of my audience is from... I have like hardly any from the United States. It's kind of interesting. It's like 50% from India, 50% from Vietnam, or 16 from Vietnam, 13 from Iraq, 9 from Egypt, and 7 from the United States. So people from the USA don't really like me. And it says the most of my viewers are on at like 6 a.m. Yeah, people from the US don't really like me that much. But I have 13 from Iraq. Yeah, 13% from Iraq. Yeah, people from 7% from the United States. Everybody, at least I'm not like some channels. It's the algorithm. Yeah, I don't know. Browse feature. How viewers find my stream. Browse feature in the shorts feed. Browse features, it looks like. Top live streams Call of Duty. But it says right here at the source. The source is browse features. Browse features 50% and then shorts feed 29%. Yeah, that's the basics of my channel. You've never seen anything like that? Yeah, people say my channel's pretty interesting. A lot of times there, because one time I went to an actual conference, and everybody was like, "How did you get for you? It's the vertical live feed, really?" Yeah, I get like 2. It says I get 2% from the vertical live feed. Really, 99%. Interesting. Yeah, I get like none from that.
His town to tell Xbox it's a real place. That sounds like the most made-up story everywhere. You're telling me some random guy in Fort Gay got banned, and then the mayor decided to step in, got Microsoft on the phone in order to tell Microsoft.
My quality is mad. Yeah, I get that. Like, it's like, you know, obviously not a professional. But the thing is that, like, when I started YouTube, it seemed like a lot of it only 360p. Is that what it is right now? Is 360p? I'll just have to get new equipment, I think, if that's what it is. I thought I was streaming in 720 right now. Oh, I can see that it is, yeah. I think I can change that. I would just have to end this stream again. I can change it to 720p. Like, I just have to end. It's just in my settings. It's because if I change them so much, yeah. It's alright. I'll just finish today's stream and then I'll make sure to always remember to check that before I go live. But I'll go live again today because today's just a normal day. It's not Sunday, you know, so. I'll make sure to change it. Nah, in OBS, I use OBS. I can't change it. I'd have to end the stream again. You want me to end the stream again and try going at 720? It's just a setting that like everything has to be off. Yeah, I'd have to end it again. I think let's just finish today's stream and then I'll make sure that I always check that. Oh, yes, please turn it off. All right, well, okay, I'll see you in like when it comes back on in like a minute. I'll see you in a minute, okay?